Hi everyone, Dr. Schwann here with Dreaming Big, and my guest for this show is Deidra Tweedy, formerly Deidra Doherty. Deidra and I have a very special connection. I actually lived with her and her family for a while in foster care, and we're going to talk on this show a little bit about foster care and a little bit about the great things that we're here in Kensington, Kansas, and the great things here in Kensington. So Deidra, thanks for coming on the show.
You're welcome.
So let's start out with just a simple question. I know you very well. Tell the audience a little bit about maybe who Deidra Tweedy is and kind of what you do.
Well, like you said, you lived with my family for a while. We graduated together. I went to college at Bethany and came back. I've worked in child welfare for almost 12 years back here in Kensington. My husband and I own the locker here in town, and we have 3 kids and 1 on the way.
And your husband Dylan, so I think was I the one that introduced you to?
It was your going away party.
I think it was, yeah.
At my parents' house.
So, yeah,
Yep. So thanks for that.
Yeah, interesting times and still interesting now.
Yes.
So so thanks again for coming on, and let's get into the meat of the discussion. Let's talk a little bit about our relationship. Let's have a little fun here. Share some war stories of living together.
I can kick you if you're mean to me.
And then we'll talk a little bit about the foster care system. Well, we'll talk a lot about it probably.
Okay.
And it just so I'm curious now. I just thought of this. So after living with you as a senior in high school and your mom wanting to probably beat me every day, how did you decide to go into your line of work?
I was a psychology major, and so I didn't always know I was going to do social work. I wanted to do crisis counseling for a while, but that isn't really family oriented or family friendly. And so when I came back here and the job was open, it was a natural fit.
So I can't take credit for it?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
And so this area is wonderful. And so I like to live here, have my kids here, raise a family here. And so it kind of just evolved into my position.
Yeah.
So you can't take credit for it.
And then we were talking the other day, or yesterday, we were joking about just the interesting times we had together of taking our ACTs together, right?
Well, that's when you introduced yourself and said, Dr. Jamie Swann. It still floors me that you have your doctorate, because when we took our ACTs in Phillipsburg, you fell asleep. And then after you woke up, you were talking to me across the room about our lunch plans after the ACTs, and I was terrified you were going to get kicked out of our ACTs because you were like trying to cheat and talk to me. And then, yeah, you fell asleep, but I think maybe got an 11 on your ACT.
Yeah, because I know I was making designs with the bubbles.
Yeah.
So
you came a long way from ACT.
Yeah, I might be able to get a 12 now.
Maybe.
So, no, those are fun times. When you look back now, and it's definitely not smart. But,
but you came a long ways, that's for sure.
Well, I think we all have.
Like in Seth, we talked about him. You've written a book, Seth's written a book, and Jill and Laura and I were talking at Christmas a couple years ago about how that's just amazing.
So where's your book at?
But yeah, we don't have books. We were kind of on the ball in high school, and you and Seth maybe not so much, and you guys have both written books. So.
And speaking of, so living here in Kensington in high school, I think we had, 14 kids in our class?
15 in our graduating class.
15? Okay, and I was number 15, so I get to.
You're the last?
Yep, so my wife gets mad at me because we found your mom actually sent me some of my homework.
Oh shoot.
So I want to frame that stuff because it's hilarious, and I found my transcripts and my GPA, and so I don't know how they,
I think they were tired of you being here.
I think
and
so.
So it was just, let's just ship you on and hope you do better things.
But when I decided, when your mom had me come live with you all,
that was senior year.
Were you part of the discussion, I guess? Was there any discussion on that? I'd never thought about it.
Well, I remember you'd been home with your mom at that house in town, and it wasn't going well. And you came over, I think it was after football practice, and you told Mom you kind of needed a place to stay, and it just happened. We had to share a car, which I think is the fight we had, and we both ended up in Mr. Oxel's office. Is because we had to share a car.
I remember driving it when I wasn't supposed to because I got in an accident.
And then we lost a tire.
Oh,
Do you remember that? We had to go try to find it in a field. Yeah.
That was fun times.
Yeah, I'm sure my parents loved it.
Were you part of this? Did your mom talk about it? Was it one she talked about family, or she just said, "Okay, come here"?
I think it was just going to happen. No one was against it. I mean, Blaine was great with it. It was kind of awkward. when you let everyone read my diary when I was on the senior trip. That was horribly inappropriate. So we had those moments of hating each other.
I should have taken pictures of that so I could maybe post it along with the show.
Yeah, that would have been a thought.
Yeah, I think we could probably go on and on.
We probably could.
But I'll tell you what, we'll take a brief commercial break. When we come back, let's talk a little about foster care. And I want it to be one of those Deidra and Jamie conversations and about foster care. And if you were in charge, which I think people like you and other people like Kelly Henderson, I think should be the future leadership in foster care. So if you were in charge, knowing what you know now, what would you do? So we'll talk about that when we come back from commercial. So with that, we'll take a commercial break, and please stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. We're here with our second part interview with Deidra. So Deidra, let's just get right into it. Let's talk foster care now. So we talked and we had a lot of jokes about our relationship. Let's talk foster care. So your experience in foster care, you've been doing it for what, like 13 years now?
12 years.
12 years now, and you kind of took over after Kim Yoxel here, right?
Correct.
And after she almost kind of built the foundation, you just took it to another level, I think.
Well, our office has been here and been successful, since it started. We talked before, I think we used to have families that took a lot of tougher kids, kind of more high needs kids. That's exhausting. And so now we kind of evolved into, I have a lot of families, we have kind of basic level kids that don't have maybe as high as needs behaviorally, which makes it easier, makes my job easier. If they're not getting in trouble at school every day and having a lot of issues. But we've always kind of been able to succeed in this area, Smith County, Phillips County. I cover Norton County as well, and it works. It works here.
So the behavioral thing, what would my needs assessment have been there?
You'd have been
high?
off the charts. Yeah. You'd have been like in a boy's home. No, I'm just teasing.
Well, I was. That was your parents' house, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And then, never mind.
Yeah.
But going back, so let's talk some of the things that you're doing here.
Okay.
So I know we've talked with some other people here in Kensington about the community, the relationship, the ties, but how are you doing it what are you doing here that other people aren't doing?
I think the difference maybe versus here in a bigger town is that it's my life. I live it. My kids go to school here, my baby goes to daycare here. Every day I see my foster parents at school, at a ball game, at the grocery store. My kids' classmates are foster kids, and so it's just a part of life. And so it's a passion that we have here locally to spread the word, spread the need. But when my phone rings at 8 p.m., I answer it. When my phone rings in the weekend, I answer it, because it's just the way we do it. If there's a problem, call us and we'll help you through it, versus they're your problem, we'll help you from 8 to 5. That isn't realistic, and so it's just a part of kind of who we are up here, and that I think is why it's been so successful.
Yeah, it's not, and that's a good point. So it's not an 8 to 5 job, even if the job description probably says that. I mean, I don't know, but
yeah.
So in my mind, so people that are doing it successful, why not try to take them, implant them in other places to get the foundation set, and to replicate what's going on here? I know every community is different.
Right.
But what would you do if, say, that happened? Say you were taken from here, you're sent to a place to fix it, to build something. What would be the first thing that you do?
I mean, I think the first step, you have to have quality foster parents. And I say quality versus quantity. You can have 20, but if they're not good, you don't want them. So when Marla teaches classes, she kind of weeds through some of those people who maybe are in it for the wrong reasons or in it for the right reasons, but just for whatever reason in their life right then, they're not ready to help kids. It's a big job. There's appointments, there's can be healthies, medical stuff, school stuff. I mean, foster parents are super busy. And so she kind of is good at weeding through that process and kind of helping prepare them for this is what we expect. I have high expectations. My mindset has always been, and it continues to be, would I let my kid go stay there? And if I would, I want you as a foster parent. If I wouldn't, there's a problem.
That's
because
simple.
If my kid can't go stay at your house for a play date, why would I put a foster kid there? So that I think is why I've made it work, because I've made it personal.
So it's a mindset, and it's so. I think it was powerful what you just said about quality over quantity. So I would rather have one Dolores Panner, one
Right.
Bob Beerley,
Right.
one Jeff Yoxel than 20 dirtbags.
Right.
And getting that mindset, and then what I think the biggest issue, one of the biggest issues in my mind is when I think of the goal of the foster care system, the focus should be on the child. But I think the focus is on money, or it's on speed. So it's on speed or cost. So it's on how fast can I get this child into a home, how many beds does that home have, like how fast can I get him into another home. It's like, let's just stop for a second and let's see, okay, hold on, what's the quality of the home? Because we know the environment is going to shape that child. The environment shaped me. If it wasn't for this environment, I mean, I may be in the way of my younger brother,
Right.
you know, is failing and was going in that repeated cycle of failure that most kids get placed in. And the quality piece is that's important.
And that's what we found. You know, we found that the quality foster parents are our best recruitment tool and our best retention tool. So, you know, we want teachers. We want, you know, good community people, you know, as foster parents, because they're going to spread the word, like the Mr. Beerleys, you know, he's a great guy. And so you want him as kind of your role model of this is what we want as a foster family. You know, because then our good foster parents, you know, help recruit. We have nurses and we have, you know, professionals, business owners, like just good people in the area that go out and say, hey, if I can do this and I'm busy and I have my own kids and I have this and this and this, you know, and they help us recruit good families. So we don't get the quote, quote, dirtbags, like you said, you know, trying to spread the word of, oh, I make a lot of money or this or that or whatever. We don't want those types of people. We want the good quality foster parents, and then they do a good job, and that speaks for itself. Because they recruit for us.
If you take a kid from their home, they're already in a bad situation anyways. If you're going to put them, why take them from a bottomless pit and just to throw them into another one?
Yeah.
Makes no sense. So I think you all, that makes sense. So you're going to weed out the bad ones. So even if we have this need for foster homes.
And there's a huge need. I mean, there is a huge need.
But there probably will always be a need.
Ideally, no, but realistically, probably.
But if we could get the quality ones, and I think Dolores Panner said it well, you can't save everyone.
Right.
You get the quality ones, you're going to save more. And I think you have something powerful here, and that is something that, in my mind, needs to be replicated. That's why I'll probably volunteer and throw your name out there a whole bunch of times to people.
Wonderful.
I already did it once. Hey, there's someone doing it right here. Either A, you go talk to them, find out what's going on, or B, hey, go incentivize them to go stand it up somewhere else. And that's the key word, like, okay, but make sure it's worth it for you as well. Because you got a family in your own, and you know it's not an 8-to-5 job, but you have children, and you're going to have another one.
Yeah,
So,
that
which
was a great
congratulations,
plan.
by the way.
Thanks.
That's powerful stuff. Now, let me ask you, I don't want to get you in trouble with anything, but has anybody asked you this stuff? Came and asked you, leadership-wise, higher decision makers?
We have like program improvement meetings every month. So we talk about the numbers and like you talked about outcomes, those types of things. In order to have a business, you always have those types of things. Child welfare is no different than another business where we, you know, have to be successful in terms of like we have to make money or there's no longer a business. So we have to be conscious of that with our expense stuff. And, you know, Marla and I have always, you know, been great up here. You know, we have an office on Main Street. It's little. I'm sure our rent is, you know, cheap compared to the bigger cities. I've just always been conscious of that with trying to be economical and make it work for our small area. And it does.
What about your method? Have you ever mapped it out to show, like, visually show someone, this is what we're looking for foster parent? Because what makes sense is, so you said you go after teachers, you go after the people that are already developing people, and they're the experts at it, right? They know how to develop someone, or they're doing it already. Why not go after them to make them foster parents?
And Marla is a recruiter, and when you talk to her, she'll talk to you about that. So she kind of knows what to look for. I call it our bubble. We're in our bubble up here. You know, it's just, our office is small. It's just the two of us most of the time, and it works. There's no politics. There's not a lot of drama. It's just the two of us, and I love it.
Well, I'm going to try to force people to come talk to you.
Oh, wonderful. Okay,
so they can
give us some drama to deal with.
Well, you can go help other people, and then you help more kids. But
Right.
share the wealth, at least share how you're doing it. So.
And you have said before, I produce a foster child, and now like the terminology has changed to child in foster care because we want to put a child first.
Okay.
So versus a foster child, you know, you are a child in foster care.
Okay.
Because the child should be, you know, first. The foster is the label. So you know, you were a child first, but you happen to be in foster care. But that was short-lived compared to some kids that we have.
Yeah. Well, any last bit of advice that you have? I mean, this is great advice, and this is selfish for me. This is almost like data collection for me. This is perfect stuff. Like, this is why we need to replicate. Any last
I mean, I think you're on the right track, just trying to go out and get as much advice as you can. Like Dolores said, if it's in your heart to do the right thing, you're on the right track right there. You know, it's not rocket science. It's not hard. But if you want to help kids, that's great.
Oh, perfect. So I'm going to be lazy to close out the show like I was when we had Fred Panner on.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Why don't you just look at the camera and close it out and say, God bless the USA.
God bless the USA.
All right, thank you for tuning in.